Alright, part 2 of Jaykay18s vintage Hassock fan. This time we're going to be focusing on cleaning it. Got the blade here, dirty. Got some 409, got water. Got some Scotch-Brite pads, so we're going to clean all this gunk out of here. Get it all nice and pretty again. Got Jay's shell cast playing in the background, which you can't hear because Susan. You know, I'm not going to listen to copyright all day either. So, but goal is to get the front of the blades looking like this again. As close to it. So I'll go ahead and start spraying this down with the greaser. And I'll start scrubbing it and then we'll come back. I have one blade done. You can see the difference between the two that I haven't touched yet. That's been scrubbed. Flip it over on the back. See, that's also shiny. You got the yellow off on the back. That's been scrubbed. I've scrubbed the shaft. So that's coming along already. See a major difference in how it looks, don't you? So I'll go ahead and continue with the other two. Get it all nice and pretty, and then start on the support brackets. Alright, here are the brackets, all clean, as clean as they're going to get. This top one here also goes on top of the motor. I might not be able to reuse that one because the new motor is about an inch shorter, but we'll see. These cleaned up as good as they're going to get. Next is the frame. Now, these are the motor support brackets. These are dirty. They're about as clean as they're going to get. You can't get every nook and cranny, but they're about as clean as they're going to get. A lot better, a lot shinier. So, next step is the frame. Alright, looks like it cleaned up pretty good. Scrubbed inside here real good. Here I just kind of give it a light cleaning because I don't want to put too much pressure on it and end up scraping off the paint. I cleaned off the feet. And I did find some information on it. It's a Rex Cole air circulator. Model 12C, I think it says. Serial 20540. Rex Cole Incorporated, Long Island City, New York. 110 volts, 60 cycles, AC only, 95 watts. So it's a Rex Cole air circulator. Long Island City. This is where the power cord goes. I got finished cleaning this off. I don't know if the new cord will fit through that. I'll probably just have to drill that out a little bit. One minor modification is these holes don't quite line up with the new motor. Just ever so slightly, so I just have to enlarge them a little bit, elongate them just a little bit, and then they'll fit. Because on this one, the holes are here. But on the new one, the holes are like, the mounting brackets are like right here. So just slightly, because these brackets, this one sits on top like that. And I might be able to use this after all. Just have to do a little bit of shimming, but I should be able to use all three brackets. So just do a quick comparison. I should have some nuts to act as a washer. So I'll finish cleaning off the feet. Then I gotta get glue some felt onto them. Get rid of these, so they won't scratch the furniture. So let me finish cleaning off a couple feet. Then I guess we can start with the rebuild process. Alright. So I'm going to assemble it now. Got the felt pads on it. Not the greatest job, but use some hot glue. These ones here I brought over just enough so it can like rub up against the back of something and not scratch. Did it for the three. Brought it over like that. Just held on with hot glue from a giant pad. This one I couldn't bring it over because of the grommet here. So that just has to stay like that. This is the power cord, 10 feet long. Put a piece of shrink tubing over it, just so it won't unfray, because I had to strip it to get the wires here. I got the plug floating around here somewhere. Had to go with a modern switch. I bought some vintage ones, 3-pack, but the only one that actually stays on. It's like a 3-position, but it doesn't have the screws. This one has the screws. You see it doesn't stay on. It's almost like a starter switch, and this one's DC only, up to 24 volts DC. So I don't think I can put AC on this one. As you see, it doesn't stay. So it's almost like probably used to like a starter. Like inrush of current, and then you let go, and it starts and stops. 50 amps, 12 to 24 volts DC. So that can't use that, so I had to go with a modern one. So I'll put this in, start wiring it. Get the motor in here. Just fits in there, no problem. Got a stripper here. So if I can set the camera down. What you can be able to see is I can't see. There's 3 individual wires. The strip length. Just like that. 3 perfectly stripped wires. They use ones like this similar to at work. Some dude was walking by with the radio, so I had to turn it off because it's Susan, I'll get flagged. Music in the background, can't have that. As I was saying, we use something like this at work. This adjusts your length, how much you want to strip it. And you can also adjust the force. So, that's pretty good. I think to put like a little, someone put some terminals on here once I feed it through here. So let's feed it through, get the motor in, and go from there. Got one of the wires on it. Used a special heat shrink connector terminal, similar to what we use at work. They have like a little bit of adhesive inside them, so they like kind of waterproof seal and they don't pull off. And that's mounted on there. Then I shrunk it. This will be the ground wire. I'll attach it to one of the mounting screws. Come over here. This is the motor. They got shimmed like that, so at least it'll sit about the same height. When the blades at the top of the shaft will be about exactly the same height as this. You can compare them side by side. That's about how they would mount. See, it's about the same. Issue is, well, this, I can put this on here. It lines up, but it's not gonna, but the bolt holes are too short. But I can at least leave it on there as like an added protection. So at least put it on like that. But I can't mount it to the motor. So I'll continue mounting this. Then we should wire it up. So here are the specs on it. It said 1/25 horsepower, 1.6 amps, 60 hertz, 1550. The other one was 1500, so it's an extra 50. So as close as a drop it as you can get. It's an HVAC motor, but should work. The ground wire here. Because AC, it doesn't matter which wire you provide power to, as long as one of them has power, it don't matter. So the other one can be the neutral. So I'll continue wiring this up and see if we can get it running today. Alright, here it is. It's got the motor mounted, the brackets are in, switch is in, it's wired. Got the neutrals connected here, I just got to shrink that down. The grounds are connected to the mounting bracket underneath there. It's hard to tell. But the screws are there. That's where the ground wires are connected to, so the frame is grounded. The brackets are in. Bottom one is in, it's screwed in, but it's not connected to physically connected to the motor, but they'll connect just for aesthetics because I can't mount it. So here's the cord. Comes in there, into there, because that's where the switches is. I assume that's where it's going to go. So now I just got to put the plug on it, which is over here. Modern vintage 3-prong plug. So wire that on, and then we can see if this thing will even fire up if I wired it correctly. And it should hopefully run once again. Alright, it's completely wired up now. I'll tidy up the wires in a minute. Plug is on. wired. Got the heat shrink at the end just so it doesn't unravel. So all I have to do is prop this camera up. So you'll be able to see it and the camera doesn't fall. Plug it in, see if it runs. My wiring is correct. Runs, rattles, issues that top bracket. I gotta bend it so the shaft will stop rubbing on it. So let me make some bends and fire it up again. Alright, I bent that bracket a little bit so it doesn't touch. It will rattle a little bit if you shake it because the bottom bracket, so the motor will flex a little bit. But as long as you're not bumping it, it won't rattle. I don't know if I shake that top bracket out or maybe just make that hole a little bit bigger. That's up to Jay. But I will plug it back in. So for now it's working again. Spin down.